All right, welcome back to the show. Today we're diving deep into the financial performance of ITC Limited. The company behind brands like Ashirvad, Sunfeast, and so much more.
Ida, absolutely. ITC is like a household name in India. So let's unpack their recent earnings report and see what's been cooking in their financial kitchen, so to speak. Disclaimer, we advise investors to check with certified experts before taking any investment decisions.
Yeah, I'm curious, what's their deal? What kind of company are we talking about here? And have they made any big moves recently?
Well, ITC is a huge conglomerate with a diverse portfolio. They are big in FMCG, that's fast moving consumer goods like cigarettes and food. They are also into paperboards, packaging, agribusiness, and even IT. Think of them like a diversified supermarket, but also with a tech wing and a farm.
Wow, a supermarket, a tech wing, and a farm all rolled into one. Any recent changes that we should keep in mind?
Definitely. A big one is the demerger of their hotels business into ITC Hotels Limited or IT Chechil, which became effective on January 1st, 2025. So the hotel's performance is now listed as discontinued operations in the financial results.
Discontinued operations, got it. It is like they're selling off a restaurant to focus on their grocery and farming business, right? So let's get to the numbers. What were some of the highlights from their income statement?
Well, their gross revenue is up 8% year on year, driven by agribusiness, hotels, and cigarettes. The board also recommended an interim dividend of 6.50 rupees per share for the financial year ending March 31st, 2025.
Nice, a dividend. Do we know the important dates? Like when do you have to own the stock to get that cash?
You bet. The record date, which is the deadline to own the stock to qualify for the dividend, is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. And the payment will be made between Thursday, March 6th and Saturday, March 8th, 2025.
Okay, so mark your calendars, folks. February 12th to get that dividend. Any one-time events or anything unusual affecting these numbers?
Actually, there is. In the standalone financial results, there's a fair value gain of 527.96 crore rupees because ITC acquired shares of EIH Limited and HLV Limited from one of their subsidiaries. It is listed as an exceptional item.
Exceptional item, got it. So how about the balance sheet? Any red flags there?
Overall, nothing too alarming. I mean, we always keep an eye on debt levels and asset allocation, but ITC seems to be managing things pretty well right now. So all looks stable.
What about cash flow? Are they swimming in cash or are they scraping the bottom of the barrel?
They seem to be generating enough cash to cover their operations and shareholder payouts, including those dividends we mentioned, with the record date on February 12th and payment in early March of 2025.
Fantastic. Now, if the company is broken down into segments, can you explain how each segment performed?
Absolutely. FMCG, which includes cigarettes and other consumer goods, is a big chunk of their revenue. Agribusiness did well with leaf tobacco and value-added exports. Paperboards and packaging faced some challenges due to cheaper imports. And of course, the hotels business, before the demerger, had a stellar quarter.
Okay, that makes sense. So FMCG and agri doing their thing, paper struggling a bit, and hotels having a last hurrah before spinning off. What are some key financial ratios that stand out?
Well, you'd want to look at profitability ratios like the net profit margin and also dividend-related ratios, since they just announced that interim dividend with the February 12th record date. Comparing these to their historical averages and industry benchmarks will give you a good sense of how they are doing.
Got it. So comparing their current performance against their past is like checking if they're improving their recipe or if they're just serving up the same old dish.
Exactly. Are they making more money per sale? And are they returning more value to shareholders through dividends?
So what are the big trends, like the direction the company is heading?
One thing is that ITC is working really hard to grow their FMCG others segment, which includes packaged foods and personal care. They're also dealing with rising costs for raw materials by becoming more efficient and carefully adjusting prices.
Okay, so focusing on growth in FMCG and trying to handle those rising costs. Now, what's your overall outlook? Are they set to soar or are they facing headwinds?
I'd say they are cautiously optimistic. The overall economy has some uncertainties, but ITC is well positioned with its diverse businesses. Plus, the demerger of the hotel's business could allow them to focus more on their core strengths.
Sounds like they are trimming the fat to become more agile, or at least that's what they're hoping.
Right. And keep an eye on those dividends. With the record date of February 12th and payment in early March, it's a near-term return for investors.
Speaking of dividends, is that 6.50 dividend sustainable, or is it just a one-time treat?
Given their cash flow and profitability, it seems sustainable, but you always want to check future earnings reports for any changes in dividend policy.
Now, before we wrap up, do you want to remind our listeners about liking and sharing this podcast?
Absolutely. If you found this financial analysis helpful, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more insights.
So, to wrap things up, what's your final verdict? Should investors be loading up on ITC stock, or should they be running for the hills?
ITC seems like a pretty solid company with good growth potential, especially in their FMCG business. But like with any investment, do your homework and consider your own risk tolerance.
Right. Final thoughts?
ITC is navigating a challenging environment well. They're rewarding shareholders with dividends. Remember that February 12th record date. And they are positioning themselves for future growth. So I'd say they're worth a closer look.
Fantastic. Thanks for breaking down ITC's earnings report for us. Until next time, keep those investments smart and diversified.
You got it.